Hey guys, welcome back. A new part. One of many to come. If I'm now cutting it up in half-hour segments. But it is what it is. I have to do what I have to do to get 4K, hopefully, on YouTube. It doesn't process to 4K when uploading longer episodes. Anyways, we are in Valentine. And we can go to a stranger over there, the big whitey area with a big question mark in it. And let's see if that opens up
Give me a dime.
a new...
Give me something.
Just adjusting the volume. A new mission maybe. So here's the saloon.
Hey, move it!
Watch it now.
Come on, sir. Try to remember what really happened at Sylvia's Saloon back in '76.
Just a lot of bunk, Plato. It's just a lot of bunk.
It's not bunk, Mr. Calloway, sir. It's history.
Ancient history, done and dusted. The dead got off lucky, the living gotta keep suffering. Same as always.
But did you shoot the Newton twins?
I don't give a pig's penis about the Newton twins. One of them was a girl, anyhow.
But you had been friends back in '73. You rode the Alabaster Trail together.
Funny thing about pigs' penises. They're curly, like their tails.
Uh-huh. Good
Put
to
that in
know.
your fucking book, Plato.
This isn't going very well.
Nope. Alright, stranger.
Apparently not.
This is Jim Boy Calloway.
The noblest of men
The
and the
Jim
woman.
Boy Calloway.
Who?
The gunslinger. Fastest left-handed draw that ever drew breath. He once killed 14 men in a fight at Lucy Hollow.
What are you waiting for?
How do you mean?
Well, I reckon right now, kill him yourself.
I don't want to kill him. I want to deify him. He's a god. I'm trying to write his biography.
And how's that going?
I think I prefer the duel. Either I'd kill him and be able to be Baltimore's finest ever gunslinger, or he'd kill me and I could be set free from ever having to speak to him again.
Well, you're starting to understand something very important.
What's that?
The joys of gunslinging. It's win-win, freedom or glory.
That's brilliant. I'm gonna write that down, if I may.
Be my guest.
What's your name?
I don't have a name.
But you are a gunslinger.
Not really. I mean, folks who need shooting, I try and shoot in the back. All that other stuff, it's, well, bunk.
But you fought duels.
Once upon a time, I may have.
And you ain't interested in fame.
I don't think so.
Strange. But you like fortune.
I need money, sure.
Okay. Then forgive me, mister, if I seem a little desperate. I am a little desperate. This book, I've got to make a thing of it, and, well, there's a whole list of gunfighters. Legends, every last one. Emmett Granger. Flaco Hernandez. Billy Midnight. Black Bell.
Never heard of him.
Maybe you can go and speak to them. Ask them about Calloway. Any of them get uppity, shoot them. I can't believe I just said that, but...
You want me to go and find some sad, deluded fools like him, ask if he was the greatest, and then if they get uppity, shoot him?
Does sound a lot worse than it did in my head.
How much you paying?
Well, a lot. Half the proceeds of the book, if you help me get it written.
I'll see what I can do.
Ha! Oh, get photos.
Okay.
And there are notes on the back of those portraits that should lead you to him.
I'll see what I can find out.
I imagine we'll be stuck here upon your return. Here are some other flophouse.
Alright, let's inspect the documents. We have Black Bell photograph. Flip it around and let's read it. Mabel Elizabeth Culver, the grand dame of the gunslinger, the dynamite dowager. Married 6 times to 6 gentlemen, gamblers, robbers, outlaws, everyone. Never divorced, dresses in her widow's weeds. Sole remaining survivor of the Coulter Tobin gang. Outlawed after robbery in Rhodes. Private contract for a life or liberty. Large reward. Last reported sighting Number Bluewater March. Do not approach, too dangerous for mere biographer. Alright, that's one. Black Bell's last known location is marked on the map with a BB.
Go, come on.
Satchel. This is Black Bell. Let's see Billy Midnight.
Hello.
Hello, Billy Midnight. Born William Schnell, the man who killed Rabbit Matthews. Little known about Midnight before killing. Thought to have been Matthews' rifle cleaner and his stable boy. Knew Calloway then. Overnight... Who the hell is Calloway? Overnight sensation, gained national celebrity. Speaking tours, then reenactments from St. Louis to St. Denis, San Francisco, etc. Received death threats and suffered attempts on his life. Now a recluse, safe for regular sightings at Rhodes train station. Ask for him there. Alright. Let's get back to the satchel. Who was Calloway? Granger, Hernandez, Midnight, Black Bell. Whatever. Am I missing something about Calloway? No. I think he shot somebody else. Right?
Hello, mister.
The man who killed Rabbit Matthews. Knew Calloway then. Okay, I have no idea. I'm just trying to get a grip on the story. Maybe it's some kind of important character. But we will probably notice that later on. And we hear Flecko Hernandez. Flecko is a pretty weird name. The terror of the Grizzlies, wanted in 8 states, runs with a gang of at least 10 stone cold killers. Is that right? Raids into Ennisburg, Valentine, Strawberry and surrounds. Gazette reports. Hideout west of Coulter, deep in Grizzly Mountains. Unlikely conversationalist. Proceed with caution. Alright. It is actually cooler indeed to read the handwritten notes, because you for instance see that 6 that was crossed out. That like it's a dynamic thing. It was first probably 6 and then afterward it became 8 states. It's more yeah, again it's maybe a tiring word, but it's immersive, more immersive. Let's get the next one, and that is Emmett Granger. Now let's try to read it as it is. Pervert killer, hog fancier, 1882. Beaver Brook massacre, reported sightings, 1886. Late law family disappearance, rumors of involvement, 1890. The Chaparral killing, suspect, 1894. Fussy gang arrest, witness, 1895. Federal pardon. Why? At present, keeper of hogs near Flatiron Lake. Interview refused. Alright, we have them all marked on our map, so that there are 4 possible side missions. And now let's get to Javier. What the hell is that? Does that say? Tobacco, whiskey, beer and cigars. And we can also get a newspaper.
Heard there was a body found around the back of the saloon, just left in the dirt.
What in the hell is the matter with this place?
Apparently a body has been found.
Extra right here.
But which saloon? This saloon? I wanted to buy the newspaper, but I will do that later, because otherwise we will probably get too many... Yeah, or shall I do it? Too many quests all at once in our log, which can become a bit over-cluttered then. Okay, there was nothing behind that saloon.
Cornwall's train robbers still at large.
But there's also a saloon over there, I guess. Okay, let's just buy the newspaper. Screw it.
In need of a good story?
New Hanover Gazette. The Heart of the Heartlands, 1899, volume 17, number 27, carrying 0 of 1 New Hanover Gazette, number 27. Alright.
You won't be sorry.
Thank you.
Thanks. Have a great day.
Partner?
You have already bought all currently available newspapers. And let's see if we can do something with this Gazette. Alright, this is what I was afraid of, but we cannot get around it. Let's read it. Train robbed, pitched, battled, leaves, many dead, outlaws sent train on driverless journey, owned by Leviticus Cornwall. Ah, that's actually what we did ourselves. A private train owned by the railroad sugar and oil magnate Leviticus Cornwall was robbed in broad daylight by masked outlaws. Headed north towards the Grizzlies, the outlaws boarded and stopped the train shortly after it had departed from West Elizabeth. Initial cables sent as of printing time indicate the bloody takeover occurred in order to steal railroad bonds from the personal car of Mr. Cornwall. Shortly after the robbery, the train was set in motion without a driver or crew, barreling dangerously through the area at a high rate of speed. The train was eventually brought to a stop by engineers and lawmen north of Annesburg, who reported a scene of violent struggle and bloody carnage on board. Some engineers and guards from the train survived the slaughter, but were too startled to report much information of value to authorities. Bank boat. Can we read it over here if I zoom? Yeah, I think we can. Alright. Big plague spreads, arriving ships quarantined. An epidemic of bubonic plague has broken out in India and Hong Kong and spreads to our troops in the Philippines. Several soldiers have died in Manila of what was called a loathsome disease. Despite the best efforts in sanitary science to stamp it out, the plague appears to have resurfaced in this country. In New York and Saint Denis, victims of plagues were confirmed, and vessels arriving were given the choice of a doctor visiting each ship or turning around. Holy shit. God damn it. I'm reading my newspaper.
What in the hell?
God damn it. No, no, no. Mission activities can lock and become unavailable when you are wanted by the law or bounty hunters. No, I don't want... God damn it.
Okay, move yourself along. No fuss now.
Oh, annoying.
Okay. I'll be on my way.
I didn't want to shoot that gun. It was,
That's it. 1 foot in front of the other. Keep it up.
I wanted to press the right trigger to get my newspaper up again, but then the law cannot see you. If you continue to evade them, they will eventually stop looking for you. Yeah, he already found me, so... Alright, whatever. This is not good for my honorability. Trying to be the good guy. But apparently if you press R2, it will also do a hip fire, which is a bit annoying, but good to know. Let's just camp out over here and continue with the newspaper. Hello. Oh, cannot do the newspaper while crouched, apparently. And any bodies of suspected of death from the disease should be immediately burned, even if the cause of expiry is not confirmed as bubonic plague by bacteriological examination. War breaks out in Philippines. Holy shit. It's pretty cool that also in this time there was already somewhat of a global interconnectedness. Like our troops in the Philippines, apparently there were American troops or maybe British troops stationed in the Philippines. We wasn't expecting that. Blackwater, of course, the British Empire did extend to India at that time, I think, but still. Blackwater lockdown, bank boat heist, largest robbery in years. Dutch boys accused, bounties placed, furnishes a sensation among residents. After a bloody... God damn it. sorry. I have to find some light. A light source. There is a light source. Stuff like this is pretty cool, that it really gets dark and you need a light to read. Can I sit on this? Nope. Whatever, this is light enough. Here we go. After bloody... Yeah, it's pretty hard to read in this flickering light, but whatever. After a bloody shootout that resulted in the seizure of a large quantity of banknotes... God damn it, this is a lot. Agency officials have restricted access to the town of Blackwater while a massive manhunt is underway. Money believed stashed by outlaws. Officials issued bounties on the heads of Dutch van der Linde and his gang, commonly known as Dutch's Boys. Banks looked to shipping assets via boat as a more reliable means of transportation, impervious to thieves. The deadly attack resulted in the loss of 150,000, the largest robbery in recent years. Authorities believe that the man may have stashed the money in blah 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 before fleeing, in Blackwater before fleeing. Reports indicate that many are searching high and low for the stash, spending public spaces, upending public spaces and neighbor gardens. Residents of Blackwater view the lockdown with contempt. Businesses which depend on shipments of dry goods, sundries and catalogue sales complain the Pinkertons have caused an unnecessary burden to life and welfare. Blizzard aftermath and grizzly snowmelt worries those in flood-prone area. A series of late spring snowstorms rendered the grizzlies impassable in May, catching many unprepared, having used most of their winter provisions. The snow, often measuring feet in many areas, is unusual this late in the season. Reports from riders who have recently encountered the area say that this respite is finally in sight. The snow melt is coming quickly with the seasonable warmth, which worries many that rivers downstream will swell and burst their banks, as happened in the late spring snowstorms of '83. Planting season is also reportedly delayed as many areas are too muddy for animals to work a plow. Bear attacks worry residents. A man killed while hunting. A hunter looking for deer was set upon by a very large bear this week. The bear was separated from its cub and by instinct attacked the man. He fired 5 shots before the big brute reached him, breaking both his shoulders, cutting the vital organs and terribly lacerating his face. He was found dead by a scouting party after his wife reported him missing. The bear had previously killed a cow a week before, and a reward of $10 was put forth for its capture. It is unknown if the bear is gravely wounded. Hunters are warned to heed caution. Family murdered, land of the lawless. Highway robbers and murder have become a daily affair once more to those traveling near tall trees. Hanniganstead, armadillo or tumbleweed. Huntington Schrader and his wife and 2 boys were traveling by wagon when they were held up by heavily armed bandits, believed to be members of the notorious Del Lobo gang. Mr. Schrader opened fire and the shorter of the bandits was soon a corpse. But the taller one, worked into desperation by the death of his companion, found his mark and Mr. Schrader was soon a corpse too. His wife Isabella stood her ground and fired at the bandits until they fled. Her younger son Isaac had been hit in the incident and soon bled to death. Travelers are warned to avoid the areas as incidents of violence, thievery and murder are increasing faster than law enforcement can pursue them. Yes, it really still is the Wild West. God damn it, it's a lot of reading. Mexican border dispute intensifies. Soldiers block passage. President calls for severing ties. Not since General Francisco Ramirez Torres seized the presidency of Mexico in the bloody coup of 1876 have relations been so strained with the US. Among 8 intentions, General Torres has placed troops along the border to deny entry to prospectors, cattle ranchers and renegade bands of Indians who have taken to raiding of Mexican settlements. In retaliation, with an isolationist tone, President McAllister has called for a ban on trade with Mexico. He said the US has provided resources over the years, including help in ending the Apache Wars 10 years ago, and received little in return except hostility. It's a bit reminiscent to what's going on now between the US and Mexico. I think that's also done on purpose by Rockstar. A search for ancient bones. Dinosaur hunt continues. New Hanover hailed as a geological wonderland. Hailing New Hanover as a geological wonderland, amateur paleontologist Deborah McGuinness is in on the hunt, excavating several sites on the state. As fossils pour in from the grizzly, McGuinness asserts that an undiscovered species of dinosaur, which she claims could fly, swim and walk, once inhabited the region in the prehistoric ages. Labeling the elusive creature a Totellosaurus, she has devoted her life's work to unearthing the remains of the ancient animal, despite geologists saying no evidence exists in the established fossil record. Several universities have rejected her work, saying Miss McGuinness would be better suited to writing fiction than searching for dinosaurs. Abundance is the dullest desire. Marbles, bobbin and pressers, sewing machines. Alright, this one is really hard to read. The Art of Angling by Jeremy Gill. I will read that one in typed fashion. Alright, Insurrection Against United States grows. The Bear, we read. That one we read. Family, A Search for Ancient Bones, we read. Mexican Dispute, we read. The Art of Angling, we cannot read. Let's try it through here. Next article. Blizzard, family murdered, 21 dead in attacks. Bank and state, yeah, I will just read them all now typed, it's a bit quicker. Banks and stages held at gunpoint. No, I will not. It's cooler if I read it in the newspaper. A search for ancient bubonic plague spreads. War breaks out in the Philippines. Okay, this is the article to the left. I will read that one also in typed fashion. War breaks out in the Philippines. Insurrection against United States grows. The First Philippine Republic has effectively declared war on the United States, objecting to the Treaty of Paris in which the US took possession of the Philippines from Spain after the Spanish-American War. American naval forces have bombarded the city of Iloilo after the first shots were fired. They will be thought the humanity of conquerors. The War Department expects the cessation of hostilities to happen quickly as the American military force is strong and the Filipinos are armed mostly with bolo knives, spears, bows and other handcrafted weapons. American occupation of the archipelago has been contentious. However, military officials are planning a humanitarian campaign after hostilities cease. Bear attacks worry residents. Read that one. The Art of Angling. This is the one to the right that I couldn't read because of the lighting. Bluegill. As I have often told keen readers of this column, fishing is, for those of us intelligent enough to see it, really the best way to understand humanity in all its glory. As a famous angler, writer, and dare I say it, philosopher, I'm used to the perils of celebrity. Once, while signing an autograph for a polio-stricken youth in Kuala Lumpur, he asked me my thoughts on fishing while it is raining. Why, that's the best time to fish, little fellow, I laughed heartily, slapping him on the back and causing him to cough mightily and quite frankly embarrass both of us. Poor little chap, life can be very unfair, fishing taught me that. I always say that some of the deepest introspection into a man's soul happens when he stands in a torrential downpour. I was fishing in the rain using live bait near Scarlet Meadows and hooked a monster bluegill, and yet even I didn't land him. So there's a metaphor pretty much for everything. Alright. So we read everything The art of angling. I read everything on this page, so let's flip it around. Train robbed, the plague spreads, war breaks out with the Philippines. Yeah, the only one we need to read besides the commercials to increase and fortify health, tin worms, is the these two. Haven't read it yet. Haven't read it yet. Banks and stages held at gunpoint. Colonel O'Driscoll, a man with a bloody record, beloved pastor among dead. Reverend Alex A. Hughes was shot and killed for voicing his concern for the safety of the woman on board a stagecoach destined for West Elizabeth. The shameful tragedy is part of widespread disorder led by notorious outlaw Colm O'Driscoll and his gang. Multiple stagecoaches and shipments have been robbed by the O'Driscoll gang across New Hanover and West Elizabeth. Banks in the region are also said to be on caution, as a number have been held up. Not satisfied with the riches of their plunder, the members of the O'Driscoll gang are reported to delight in torture and bloodshed as part of their escapades and have left widows and widowers in their wake. Travelers are encouraged to be aware and armed, especially in the area of Big Valley, where the gang is reported to have taken a large ranch as a base of operations, leaving the family and ranch hands dead. Alright, no good O'Driscolls. They are heresy, religious sect recruiting, citizens of Valentine protest, calm Chelonians commit blasphemy. The evils of Chelonianism are still flourishing. It is now practiced openly, and this newspaper believes it is a menace to all our liberty. Christian citizens of Valentine gathered at church last Saturday to protest what they and any sensibly minded people consider a blasphemy in their midst. The Chelonians have been actively recruiting young men, while the US continues to debate the recent statehood of Valentine. While the US continues to debate the recent statehood of Valentine, Valentine wrestles with its own homegrown religious movement. I think there's a sentence still that is on the edge of the newspaper folding. Valentine wrestles with its own homegrown religious movement. They claim the true Bible was handed down 100 years ago to our great prophet from above. Local religious leaders warn this blasphemy threatens the future of the region and indeed the country. The Chelonians hold the turtle to be sacred and consider them ancient holy animals to never be harmed. Protesters were seen holding signs with okay, I will. That's too funny. Heresy. Valentine wrestles with its own homegrown religious movement. They claim to the I find it a bit weird. It said while the US here it says to the bottom left, while the US continues to debate the recent statehood of blah blah blah. That whole section is not in the typed version, because the typed version goes from in their midst to Valentine to the next paragraph, I guess. Where is in their midst? To protest what they and then consider blasphemy in their midst. The Chelonians have been actively recruiting young men. Have been actively recruiting young men. Okay, so that sentence, while the US, that is simply not there. So that's clear. And then the Chelonians hold the turtle to be sacred and consider them ancient holy animals to never be harmed. Protesters were seen holding signs with a turtle that had been crossed out. Alright, pretty funny. We are fully up to date on the state of affairs in Valentine. That's a good thing in my book. It took a whole episode to read the newspaper. It's good for my English, so that's a benefit, side benefit. Anyhow, I have to cut off the episode here, so we really didn't do anything else approximately than reading in this episode, but it is what it is. We'll continue in the next episode. We will head to the saloon and see what Javier brings as a mission. See you there. For the meantime, never forget, keep on gaming. See you later.